Chapter 22. Results. Faddy hurried through the halls past drooping Thanksgiving decorations towards the art studio. The bell had just rung for lunch and the photo club was having an all-hands meeting. Miss Bethuna had called them together after receiving notification from the contest the day before. This is it. Today's the day. Faddy skidded around the corner, ripping the head off a paper turkey in his haste. He stopped at the entrance to the studio and paused for a moment, running a hand through his rumpled hair. A glimmer of Miss Bethuna's red and silver sneakers appeared next to her desk. He hadn't slept a wink all night. All he could do was thinking about getting on a plane with his father. In his mind he could see them flying to India, then hopping on a flight to Peshawar. Mariam is in Peshawar and I will find her. Faddy took a deep breath and passed through the doors. Miss Bethuna cleared her throat, urging everyone to settle down. Ahem, she repeated. She pressed her lips together and fingered the large manila envelope she clutched in her left hand. This is it, whispered Arn. Faddy nodded like a drunken turkey, taking his seat next to her. Arn's eyes shined with positive energy. Good luck, Faddy. You too, Faddy whispered back. His tongue was dry and stuck to the roof of his mouth, as if he'd licked an entire jar of peanut butter. Around the room, eager, nervous faces peered towards Miss Bethuna's desk. Ravi wasn't there because this type of situation made him so nervous that he usually threw up. During stressful exams, he was giving a seat in the corner with a trash can, just in case. Since he couldn't be there, he'd given Faddy his phone number so someone could tell him what had happened. Now, said Miss Bethuna, clearing her throat, before I tell you the results, you must all know that you did a fantastic job whether you won or not. The competition was stiff with more than 1,000 entries. The huge number elicited gasps from around the room. Faddy gulped. The chances of winning are less than 0.1%. Regardless of the results, we'll all be going as a group to the exhibit being held at the Exploratorium in 2 weeks, on Saturday, so make sure to bring in your consent forms by the end of the week. Yeah, whispered Arn. She cracked her knuckles as her eyes narrowed. Let's get past the pep talk and on with the show. Faddy's gaze was glued on Miss Bethuna's hands as she slit open the envelope and pulled out a stack of pages. His heart picked up speed as she flipped past the cover page, skimming the paragraphs. Repeated Miss Bethuna. The sound reverberated through the silent room. In third place, the winner is Emily Johnston, 9th grade from Del Campo High School in Sacramento. Good, whispered Arn. She gave Faddy a wink. Who wants to be in third place? Faddy returned a weak smile. Third place isn't going to get me what I need. Miss Bethuna glanced down at the page, her eyes widened. In second place is... Miss Bethuna looked towards Faddy and his heart nearly stopped. Arn Hong, 6th grade from Brookhaven Middle High School, Fremont. The room burst into whoops of excitement and applause. Way to go, said Faddy. He turned to Arn and gave her a hug. Arn sat with a bewildered, stunned look on her face. She was frozen and speechless for probably the first time in her life. It was that amazing action shot, said Faddy, and he pounded her on the back in congratulation. I can't believe it, she finally whispered. Once the ruckus died down, Miss Bethuna continued. Awesome job, Arn. For winning second place, you receive a 3 years subscription to the Société Géographique magazine, free film from Kodak, and a family pass at the Exploratorium. Great, said Anne, but no airline tickets, she said under her breath. Faddy stilled. What is the probability of 2 students from the same school winning? Pretty slim, he gulped. Miss Bethuna flipped over the page and continued. First place goes to Marcus Sauer, 7th grader, Kiefer Junior High School, Belmont. Now for the grand prize. This is it, thought Faddy, saying a little prayer. My chance to go to Peshawar. The grand prize, repeated Miss Bethuna, goes to Filbert Dewberry, 11th grade, Calvert High School, San Jose. What? No! Faddy's eyes widened as a cold numbness settled over his chest. I'm supposed to win. He gasped. He couldn't breathe. "Faddy, are you okay?" whispered Anne. "You don't look so good." Bile gurgled up from Faddy's stomach, making him want to throw up. His eyes closed. He slumped in his chair. He'd lost, and so had Mariam. "Faddy? Faddy?" Anne's concerned voice flowed past him. The sounds were slow and unclear, as if people were speaking through a tunnel. "Faddy, honey, are you okay?" Miss Bethuna hurried over. "He's not taking this well," Faddy heard Anne respond. "Faddy, you've been awarded an honourable mention," said Miss Bethuna, "by Clive Murray himself." Faddy's eyes opened in surprise. "What do I win?" he said in a rush. Miss Bethuna frowned. "It's not about winning things, Faddy." "You don't understand," said Faddy, his voice bleak. "It is about winning. Winning those tickets to the photo shoot." Looking confused, Miss Bethuna looked at the bottom of the page. "I'm afraid that you don't win anything, Faddy," she said. Faddy sat back as a cold numbness that had frozen his body turned into hot, boiling anger. How could I not have won? It was so unfair. He pounded the table with his fists and ran out of the room. He heard Miss Bethuna and Anne calling after him, but he didn't care.